Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab where I do what I do for you. I got a nice lesson for you today called Conclusion. We're going to wrap up the mythology and the philosophy, the differences. So let's go. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right Thinker's mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. You're a right thinker. Your goal is to know thyself. So, you see where I'm going with that? So, I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical. But if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here too. Wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself. And to my yacht, be true. This lesson is called Conclusion. Yeah, of all the philosophies and mythologies that led to the mystical experience, it's all getting you to oneness. Hope I can get that all in this lesson. So let's go. The conclusion states that when you're comparing our ancient mythologies and the philosophies, I did that, it's necessary to approach them all with an open mind, not a subjective. And the idea that no matter how discordant or flamboyant they may appear to be, there is a basis of what? Truth, which underlies them all. Every philosophy, every mythology has a purpose and a reason, and is underlying is there's truth there. In the study of religions and their philosophies, is what I do, it may be necessary to discount what local variations of what mythological stories in order to really view the commonality of all their themes, which is to get you to God. I've been telling you that the whole time. Likewise, what happens now when analyzing writings by those who claim, listen clear, writings by those who claim to have had a mystical experience. You can't trust everybody who claims to have had the God experience. I call it a but God moment. When that point in time in your life or something's going on when you know it had to be somebody else. Nobody but God. Okay? Once you had that, I had mine, it's called epiphany, called awakening, whatever you call it, but that's what everybody's supposed to have. And some people are going to tell you or manufacture this. Why? So be careful who those who claim who had mystical experience. Why? Because it is necessary to what? To discount what? All the inconsistent aberrations which may be due to what? Their particular ignorance or mental state being what? Unenlightened spiritually at certain times. So they only gonna go by their ignorance. And most people you hear tell you about the this, that, you can tell. So that's what they're telling you. But now once local and regional variations in the mythological stories and the hallucinatory or delusionary descriptions of mystical experiences are stripped away, all the nonsense from the religious aspect, the belief, and the philosophical traditions, what happens? Now it is possible to gain insight into the underlying unity of the true religious concept and thoughts wherein all major themes have survived to what? To this present day. And there are, I'm going to run by you. We got 8 of them. Let me run by you. These are the philosophy, the mythological concepts that still are in play to this right day. The human being, we hear this all the time, is more than what meets the eye. What you mean? Beyond the body. We know the body to the earth, spirit to heaven. But the body has an expiration date. It will run out. But the spirit that's in it, there is an eternal soul, which aspires to what? Achieve greater heights than what ordinary life suggests. And here, ordinary means ignorant. Whenever you hear ordinary, that means ignorant, unenlightened, uninformed, unintelligent, unspiritually enlightened. So don't be ordinary. That's your heads up. When you hear the word ordinary. And next one is number 2 is that the soul is immortal. We got that figured out. This physics, the spirit, the energy don't die. It just transfers. And the concept from the Egyptian concept that I follow that says when the spirit, heart, mind becomes one, you become enlightened, you reach nihas, you spiritually enlightened, you know thyself. So when the physical body dies, the eternal spirit goes back to where it's come. They call it heaven and hell, whatever you want to call it, but that's the concept. Moving on. So the soul want to go back. I tell you, my concept is our souls are alone from God. He want it back. But until you figure out why you hit or it's in the body, it can't go home until what? It make the connection with the heart, mind, coherence while in the physical form on earth with spiritual beings having a human experience we call life. But everybody question, why am I here? What's the purpose of life? I tell you every day, know thyself. Moving on. There is one, again, one divinity, one God. All the attributes that everybody give God by different name is still the same one God. Please understand that. I ain't gonna try to go back and forth about that one. But there, again, this is philosophy that's still in play today. The one God, which expresses what? In many ways. Been knowing that since beginning. The soul, which seeks what? Closeness with that what? Divinity. That's what you call the mystical experience. When you and God become one, the spirit wants to unite with its maker. But it's in the physical form, it don't have control over that. So you got to become conscious of it and make it happen from the inside, which you control all of that. And we call it mystical experience for why? The mystical experience requires that you, the seeker, to cultivate what? A state of mind consciousness that what? Leads to what? Awareness of that which what? Lies where? Beyond the realm of ordinary senses, which is the 5 senses that control the brain and gives information from the physical body. We went through that already too. But remember, ordinary means what? Ignorant. So your 5 senses is ignorant of the next level. Why? That's as far as it can go in this state. That's why. So you have to raise your consciousness from the physical to the mental. And it tells you right here, the realm, next one, your mystical experience. We call it the awakening or nihas. The mystical experience will require you, the seeker, to what? Develop what? A righteous lifestyle. What? Based on virtue, integrity, and both mental and physical health, meaning mind, body, and soul. Mind, body, and soul have to be dealt with every day. Each one has its own purpose and reason. Prayer, meditation, physical workout. That's the ritual that I follow that keeps those things intact. Everybody got their own choice and way to do it, but those are things that need to be dealt with. How you do that is your choice. Moving on to number 6. Again, mystical experience. Become enlightened, reaching nihas, a Christhood, whatever you want to call it, nirvana, all those things is all the same thing, but we using mystical experience for our Christian followers. That's what they experience. Mystical experience leads to an expanded what? state of consciousness. I mean, you have to study, you have to learn, you have to put the work in and experience of awareness of what? Reality. You have to manifest it for yourself. I can talk to you till I get blue in the face about what you can do, how we should do, and what happens if you do it. If you don't do it, it all for naught. That's my point. Moving on. Now, number 7. Mystical experience is necessary. All religious goals are for every one of their followers to have with their own mystical experience. Part of the existence and the evolution of the soul is that it becomes conscious of the physical body that it's in. With practice, righteous living, doing certain things will make that possible. Number 8, and it tells you when the soul is deprived of its mystical aspiration, meaning what? Through its own state of ignorance. Some people don't want to be better. Some people don't aspire to be better. That's fine. That's, again, their choice. And through ignorance and their mental activity, which is what the primary method for expansion of the soul, may become now unstable. Mental illness and other mental aberrations may result in what? Depression, wars, crimes, etc. Meaning if you're not thinking, if you're not acting, doing, and being, if you have signs of ignorance, the results is you're going to go to war, you're going to have problems with everybody, and it's going to continue on and on. That's the state of ignorance. That's the conclusion of that lesson. So now, nope, I got a little more, sorry about that. But now, at that time, the sages realized that the coming world age necessitated what? The dissemination of ancient mystical wisdom in a form which what? The masses of people could more easily have access to and understand. They taught the masses self-knowledge. They incorporated the masses in their teachers and their knowledge. And watch what happened. Thus, the hieroglyphic writings and the oral tradition teachings kept in the memory of the sage and the initiates traditionally. And they gave way to what? Writing versions of the same teachings. They started writing it down. Papyrus. Thus, written verses constituted what? Intellectual expansion of mystical wisdom, which already existed in both oral history as carried on by what? The Egyptian sage and also the Egyptian hieroglyphic form. It's still there on the wall. Okay, for you to learn. Moving on, I see in my time, I can try to get this in. I'm trying to get it done. But all this time, through all this going on, the personal and the development of what? Hieratic writing in Egypt, first form. Then you got the cuneiform writing in Middle East, the Sumerians, and you got the Sanskrit from India. Everybody had their own writing form. And watch this. Among the first in the series of new writings, systems which espouse what? The same philosophy, watch this, that had existed where? In Egypt for many thousands of years. Moving on, schools of mystical philosophy grew up around such names, you ready for this, as Socrates, that's the Greek philosopher who came to Egypt and learned. Pythagoras, another Greek philosopher, came in, that mathematician who learned the science of math. And you got Plato, who in Europe, and the Zoroasters in Persia. You have Moses and Jesus for the Middle East. You have Buddha in the Patanjali in India, and Lao Tzu in China. So everybody had a philosophy that got them to what? Who they call God. And the writings of the Greeks acknowledge, what's this? The fact that they studied where mystical philosophy in Egypt. Now, this is a new one because when I was studying Greek mythology, Egypt never came up. I'm just saying, I got a personal problem with that because I spent 10 years studying their philosophy, the thinker. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. They never mentioned Egypt, but get out of there, it's personal. But watch this. They even said they got their mystical philosophy in Egypt. And from the current analysis, watch this, Kemet, which is Egypt, philosophy appears to the form of what? To be the form of the basis, you ready? The basis of Christianity, Hinduism, the Vedanta Vedas, the Sufisms, Muslims, the Buddhism, the Taoism, the Jewism, remember them? Jewism, and even Kabbalah, those are Jews. And the similarity, I just brought that down with other lessons, the similarity of the tenets of all the other systems suggests what? A common origin. I'm about to freak out. They are but aspect of the same philosophy of, you ready? Everything comes from the one. They call it the oneness, the dot, the black dot. I got a common, see, I got the lesson called Oneness. I'm going to try to squeeze it in. I'm trying to make it quick, get through this one. But the whole purpose of all of them, the conclusion is they all philosophize is to be getting to the oneness. And you have common features. Okay, this is going to break down the common features of the mystical experience from what? Living to being. Common features which seem to characterize the mystical experience by those and have been noted in the philosophical and religious scriptures of many countries, and the following realizations may come in a single experience or may occur over several times, either spontaneously or while what? Engaged in formal yoga meditation practice. Meaning sometimes it hits you while you're in a state of meditation and bam. Sometimes it hits you in somewhere else, but it's a spontaneous, what they're telling you. It's common. And they may, what's this, occur spontaneously, once in a lifetime, called epiphanies, life-changing experience, or maybe several times, and many, watch this, may remain as a permanent feature of one's consciousness. That may come in totally awake and aware and staying in that state of mind, become enlightened. They often come in the form of what? Something that suddenly dawns on one. Like the light that go ding, the bell ring, whatever it is. But I get it. Eureka. The enlightenment. There we go. The enlightenment experience. That's what they call it. Mystical experience, enlightenment experience. But when you experience it, it may occur what? In an instant, and in the following moment, the thinking mind reactivates what? And makes sense of what? Said experience. Some common realizations are listed below. I'm gonna break a few of them. I got 6 of them for you, right? We're gonna run through them. I see the clock. I'm good. I'm good. All of a sudden, watch this. When you become enlightened, and I experienced this, it's funny because they knew this and they right on point with it. Watch. Number one, all of a sudden, you know that there is only one consciousness that exists, and that is what? Your own, you, thyself. Yeah, the one. Again, that's what happens. Number two, you discover that all that exists depends on what? Your consciousness is in your head. God temple is the one not made with human hands between these two here, the two hemispheres of the brain. That's where he dwells, the pineal gland. One knows, watch this, you know that what? Creation, aka the world, depends on what? One's consciousness. He's pure conscious. He knows all already. The world is seen as what? A projection which one has created. It's like the one you project when you go to sleep in your mind. That's your own world. You control it. That's how God's world is right now for us. One knows what? That your consciousness, your soul, is the same one which what underlies and supports all human beings. All souls are one. Again, George is way ahead of his time. Number four, one, you know that what? This consciousness is distinct from what? Your ego personality of others. That is it. There is what? Their true inner self, your real self, your higher self, your soul, their soul of which even they are truly unaware, ignorant of. One's soul is what? Is one with every other soul. Remember, we all connected spiritually. Immortality is what the soul knows. One knows at once that what? That one is what? Immortal, infinite, and boundless. When the spirit that's inside the physical body, when you become aware of that, that's enlightenment. Number six, wrapping it up. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. One may experience what? Lasting effects from the mystical experience. How? Which may fade in time. For example, one may even experience a sensation of what? Of being one with other people. Telekinesis, telepathic communicating with somebody mentally, that's what they're saying. And that's the lesson. Hope you enjoyed. No. Sorry about keep wanting to shut it down. No, I got a little more. Understand this. This is the definition I forgot. Gotta break it down. All mystical experiences is said to proceed from the action of what? The primal life force, the Egyptian Ra or Buto, and the Indian Kundalini, meaning the serpent, the coiled one, which causes, watch this, evolutionary changes in what? The physical and even the subtle nervous system, which is the spinal column, and even mental, which is the consciousness, understanding. If not prepared, what happened? The onset of this mystical experience will blow your mind, may cause, you ready? Emotional imbalance, disease, or even insanity. For what? For this reason, proper training of spiritual occult teachings by a spiritual preceptor and the adjustment of one's life where in order to integrate the expansion of consciousness that is desired, you have to be willing to open up, let it happen, and experience it for yourself. That's the name of the game. I think that may be lesson. Yeah, that's the lesson. Again, in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100 and me 100 miles a day. So I never know the right thinkers like you passed away. I think we about to get into some modern physics of ancient physics. The noblest employment of the mind is what? The study of your creator. Let's talk about it.